with the Matty Johns stuff, yeah, he's brushed me, I reckon.
Did
It's probably
you
my
listen-
downfall. I probably announced stuff too early. Like, as soon as it happens, like, oh yeah, fuck, here's some content, bang, post it, and then everyone's like, shit, when's he coming? And so, someone read it the other day, and I go, if you got me on a bad day, man, that question would fucking break me, because everyone always goes,
I saw that.
When's Matty Johns go? Oh, just want to headbutt someone sometimes when I hear that.
8th of April, Show and Go. Welcome, everyone. It's been a pretty hectic few days. There's a little bit of sports news going around. To jump straight into it, big Dana White, bit of a flex. Where's Ice? What are you doing?
I thought you were going to introduce me. No?
No, scrap the intro. Everyone knows who we are.
We're straight on, are we? Okay,
Straight
sweet.
straight on. But yeah, you got to keep it.
I was waiting for that intro. I was going to slide on in.
So, doozy slide in, or here we go. Nah, UFC Ireland, man. What a flex from Dana. He is ruthless in how he does things, and to go out and buy an island just so they can host fights. He wants to put on fights weekly. Did anyone listen to him speaking with ESPN, the Brett Okamoto guy?
I only saw clips of it, yeah. But I got the gist of the TMV interview, yeah.
Have you seen anything, Ice?
Nah. I just sort of running off of the back of what you said, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Give us a insight on it.
Well, I think like the interesting part is, and Jackson, you probably know a bit about this. Yeah, it's not just like having a basketball event where everyone goes out and they play basketball and there may be an injury or something like that. But think of Dan Hooker in Auckland against Paul Felder. They're both admitted to hospital straight after the fight. You put it out there on an island with no infrastructure. What does that look like? There's so much logistics that Dana White has apparently come across for it. I think it's crazy. Like, what do you think, Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that, the UFC are cowboys, bro. I wrote a column this morning for stuff like, this is just typical UFC. They start their whole promotion with no weight limits, and their first fight ever was some sumo wrestler up against some bloke who looked like me. Their first card on ESPN, they put Greg Hardy, who's been accused of assaulting his missus, as the co-main event. So like, this is UFC doing UFC shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And the biggest thing for me, I mean, yeah, the medical side, I know there's a lot of concerns, but Dana's a smart guy. He'll sort that out. The biggest thing for me is, as a UFC fan, fuck, this is our chance, man. Like, the three of us were talking about what we were talking about on Monday, watching NBA players play fucking 2K. Like, there's no sport on. So even people who aren't into UFC, if you put on some live event in any capacity, you're going to get all these new eyeballs and potentially catch a whole new group of fans. The caveat to that, where I think they're fucking up, is making it a pay-per-view. Like, in this climate, Ice, you'll be able to speak to this, mate. No one's spending money. So, I mean, the idea that they've got this window, they've got this island, the storyline's amazing. Fucking put the thing on for free, go full UFC, all access, build up to it, stream it on every platform. But the pay-per-view model's dead anyway.
The Gaethje-Ferguson fight's not on the island. That's in the US in an undisclosed location. Dana White still hasn't said where that is yet. But it's the ones moving forward.
That's what I'm saying. The whole private island idea, I mean, if you're going to have all these fights, you've got to ditch the pay-per-view model until this pandemic's done. Any main event's got to be like, ditch the pay-per-view, build the storylines. You've got these, it's full Mortal Kombat. You've got them on an island fighting each other in a steel cage. Reeks of Fire Festival. But
I was just about to ask you, does this remind you of Fire Festival or what?
You see some shanty octagon that's not quite built, Dana White on his knees, getting the boys some water. Like, it's going to be a shit show. But
I reckon that'd be mad if they built the octagon out of like bamboo stick and like shit like that and make it proper primal.
A jungle, the rumble in the jungle, legitimately.
Yeah, but like you said, it's probably the best opportunity that they're ever going to have. They're probably in one of the fastest growing sports, if not the fastest growing sport in the world. And once the world stops, they've got this massive opportunity to brand. Like, pay-per-view, do they need that type of money right now? Probably not, but they can get all the single eyeballs of the whole world onto this type of sport. And like fighting is just primal. Like, I say this all the time. If we're having a coffee and two people start having a punch up outside, we're not just going to carry on our conversation. We want to just go have a look, because like instinctively within us, we want to see people fight, and we want to see who's the strongest. And UFC's comes under that type of sport. And yeah, it's a massive opportunity. Like you said, like I said, content, man. It'd be content.
And like they
the whole
think of
reason,
it's like
we fell in love with State of Origin was the blues, was the punch ups. It's like you said, it's whether you are a UFC fan or not, it's hard to take your eyeballs off a scrap. Now you put it some of the most, hipped up on bloody testosterone men on the planet who know what they're doing on an island to fight each other. Whether people agree with it or disagree with it, it's going to be the whole Dallas Cowboys model. Jerry Jones keeps the Cowboys in the news for all the wrong reasons throughout the whole year, and they're the biggest brand in sports. Just keeping their name, the UFC's name in your mouth is going to be massive for them pre and post COVID-19 anyway.
Have you still
do you know what I do? Sorry,
Okay,
do you know what I do like about it though with UFC is like they build these guys up, like even though it is a primal sport. See, within rugby league, like we've got all these characters that haven't had the most clean pass, or like few of them been to jail and different stuff like that. But they almost half promote their style of upbringing or style of storytelling for the back end. See, with rugby league, like we get all these like people from blue collar backgrounds, and we try and shape them into these fucking robots that just talking fucking cliches all the time. That's what I love about the UFC. They're not afraid to sort of show all their scars and show all their history, and it makes just for like easy content to watch, and I love it.
Who have you got, Tony or Gaethje?
Well, I mean, I tried to tell you on Monday that was the fight that was going to happen. You didn't want to hear about it. It's an absolute war. Gaethje goes out on his shield every fight. I think I'm going to probably fuck up the number, but I think he has 6 bonuses in his last 5 fights, or 6 in his last 7, or something ridiculous like that. I think Tony tees him up, but fuck, man, if you don't have to be a purist to know, like, trust me, this is going to be. There's no way that this fight can be boring.
Go and watch he does a cool video with TMZ talking about like now that he's fighting, what it is. He's like, this is so unprecedented. I'm a bit. No, he doesn't say that he's scared, but he's just like, he's playing that card a little bit. He's taking his opportunity. It's an interim title fight. So he's just going to go all out. And he's like, I'll probably get cut up with elbows, but, I've got that one punch power and I can put him straight on his ass. So I reckon it's going to be a hectic fight.
He did say scared, and that's part of what I was saying. These guys, the UFC's characters, like Darren Till said it before, that he's like, shaking and has to be, helped out of his, seat to make the walk. Like, they show their vulnerability, and they show a lot of this sort of new wave of fighters, Gaethje, Till, Adesanya. They show that they are just like you and I, shit scared, being locked in a cage with a killer. But it just builds this whole thing, man. Like, I wasn't really a Gaethje fan. Like, I was a fan of his fighting, but you hear that one snippet interview and you're like, fuck yeah, this guy's like me. He's a little bitch like me. Like, you're real into it. So I'm excited, man.
You do need, within sports, you do need to point a difference. It's the same as like sports is just entertainment. It's just like a movie. Imagine Batman without the Joker, or Batman without someone to fight. Like, he's just a bloke cruising around with Millie. Yeah, it'd just be weird. Like, who's this bloke cruising around in this fucking black suit in this mad car? Like, do you know what I mean? So you always need these alternative characters. Like, you need someone to fight. Like, you need a good guy to fight the bad guys. And within like NFL, is it the Patriots at the moment? Because they're not bad guys, but they always seem to win. So like, we all want to hate those guys because they're good. So you do need characters within sports. And I think, I agree with everything you guys just said just then.
Yeah. Everyone needs a good dance partner, man.
100.
Well, somewhere where the NRL could take notes off the UFC is some of the initiative with this conference system that they're trying to put together. Jackson, I know you're pretty across that. To be fair, I haven't really read much into it. I know we sort of alluded it was similar to what I think it was Hocko and initially broke it all down on the scope, what it might look like in a conference, but splitting it in 2. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, the old YKTR Sports breaking news. NRL
Jeez, this is a fish and chip paper. This is old.
I think kind of circling back to the UFC. The UFC is going to be, I think I touched on it on Monday, a bit of a guinea pig. If they can pull this off and they get a live event done, it's going to open the floodgates. You'll see the NRL Ireland will no longer just be this weird pipe dream. I think that'll be a legitimate possibility. I think you'll see the NBA look at maybe splitting their conferences up and just doing like a West Coast playing, 5 teams on the West Coast play 5 games straight and then dip out like they've kind of mooted. But with the NRL conference, so it'd look like basically all non-Sydney teams. So, Broncos, Titans, Dragons, Knights, Warriors, all that. Canberra would play somewhere up on North Queensland, and then the Sydney teams would play in Sydney, and you just take the top 4 from that. The thing which I love as a Warriors fan, but is a bit weird, is the scrapping of the first 2 rounds of competition. Like, they still happen. Can't just pretend like they didn't happen. Like, the boys,
You guys already did that, though.
Yeah, they got to own it. So I think Des Hasler, was it 2V? No, Hasler came out today talking about a way to kind of work that in would be the win percentage that they use in the NBA, kind of that model. So I'll fuck up the multiplication, but you basically times your wins by the games played, and that's how you work out the seeding. So I mean, this changes every day. We'll probably be scrapping it and talking about something completely different on Friday, but I mean, I like it, man. Anything you can do to get footy back, as long as, like I said last week, it is footy, and we're not getting some watered down product of what rugby league used to be.
Yeah,
I think conferences are a good idea just in general. But in saying that, you look at the Super Rugby and they look at conferences, and like, is that quite appealing to not bagging rugby anyone that's a rugby fan out there?
We love rugby.
Well, tell us about the cake.
Yeah, we love rugby. I'm from New Zealand. We're from All Blacks. We're good at rugby. But yeah, like, I do like the conference idea. But the way I used to think about it when I played football, like when I was at Penrith, like, our biggest rivals were Parramatta, and like, I reckon the 3 seasons I was there, we played Parramatta like once during the season. So you want to create hype around actual games. And I know I'm talking outside of coronavirus or COVID-19 when everything's back and running. Like, we played Parramatta one time and it was up in Darwin. Like, so that's like the local derby. Like, why wouldn't we be playing each other at each other's stadiums all the time? And that's how you create hype around actual games, not fucking off to Darwin and playing up there. So I do like the conference idea. So the West Conference would be the one that sticks for me. So you go Penrith, Parramatta, Bulldogs and Tigers. All those sort of teams kind of hate each other because they're kind of from this like certain little area. So, and that's how you build better home games, is by playing the teams that you actually hate, because you want to go down and experience those. So in terms of all this, yeah, I'm with Jackson. We just got to get any type of football back on the screen. And I feel like, I know UFC's got the money to do it, but I feel like rugby league's probably the sport that can do it as well. Like, We've got that sort of blue collar rough edge about us where it's almost like we don't give a fuck as well. Like, let's go to this island and let's just fucking do it. And I do love that about our sport. So it comes with the good and the bad, but that's one thing I do love about it. We're a blue collar background and we just want to fucking rip in and play footy and drink some beers and watch footy.
Yeah, it was interesting. I saw Stephen A come out yesterday and he was talking about a month ago you were happy for everything to sort of be shut down and the sport's not playing. And then now it's almost like you realize you do sort of need it and what it does for the community and like just getting people together in that sense too. Obviously you're trying to social distance and do your part there, but it's still, you need that escape. And you sort of realize over the past month how much of an escape watching sport really is.
And without trying to sound like Peter V'landys, like the economic multiplier that rugby league is, I hate that word so much, but the knock-on effect is so, like, we're really starting to feel it now. Like in Auckland, I think there's a story coming out today that 30% of Auckland businesses are going to be closed down by the end of this lockdown period, and that's only for 4 weeks, and we're probably looking at 6 to 12. And a lot of businesses, if you want to boil that down to sports, the cleaners that had the contract for Mount Smart, that was about 70% of their wicket for a year. The catering, there's transport, there's bus companies that, ferrying players to and from football games, when the boys fly in and piss off to the game and then go home. Like, there's a lot of things. It's not just players on the field making $1 million. There's this whole other umbrella that rugby league covers. So look, the conference system's cool, but this is an idea that we've only heard about for the last 24 hours. There's going to be a lot more. I think April 15th is the deadline. They've got to present something. So I think if they go 2 conferences, I wouldn't be surprised if Scope and Hocko's 4-conference system is something they do down the line. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm with Ice.
Yeah, just what you're sort of touching on there, Lukey. I heard someone sort of talk about like sports, the glue for society. So it's like the glue that links up the end of your week, of your work week into the weekend. Like, it's good. It's great to have your weekends off to yourself, but then that shit can only last so long before you're bored. You kind of need something that aligns you. Like, fuck, this is the end of my week, and I want to watch the sport, and then that's a sign of the weekend that's going to come. So I heard that saying, it's the glue that connects your week to your weekend, and I feel like that's so true.
Yeah. Speaking of something that hasn't stuck, you getting Matty Johns on the podcast. What's doing there? I know you did the shout out yesterday. You got your Pip Edwards potty. I'm looking forward to that one. I think, like, looking at her business from afar as someone that appreciates that sort of stuff, it's going to be a cool listen. Probably won't be able to be there to do my thing behind the scenes and listen to it live, but 100% be listening to it once it is published. Have what's the go there? Have you had a chat in the DMs, or when's that coming out?
Yeah. She slid in my DMs to Mrs. Heapstake. Nah. So I'm sort of gone with that approach that I went with Matty Johns and Batuta Advocate, and I'm fucking 0 from 2 at the moment. So I kind of just jump on Instagram stories, go, hey, everyone comment this, and I'll give away $100 gift voucher. And she got like sort of pretty much Instagram harassed, but really looking forward to it. Very smart girl. Do love their business model. They've built like this cult following with girls. Like they're not too far over from us in terms of offices. So, and like when you see like a P Nation sale, like everyone's like, oh, the P Nation sale's on. Like I got to get there. So it's kind of the type of business model that we want to build, where we build a cult following and they support us no matter what. And I'm kind of interested just to have that conversation with her and sort of sit down. She's got quite an interesting story. She's a Kiwi as well. So that plays into her favor. I know you'd love that, Jackson. But yeah, it's she's agreed to jump on next week, and really looking forward to it. With the Matty Johns stuff, yeah, he's brushed me, I reckon. It's probably my downfall. I probably announced stuff too early. Like as soon as it happens, like, oh yeah, fuck, here's some content, bang, post it, and then everyone's like, shit, when's he coming? And so someone read it the other day, and I go, if you got me on a bad day, man, that question would fucking break me, because everyone always goes,
I saw that.
When's Matty Johns go? Just want to headbutt someone sometimes when I hear that. Shout out Matty Johns. You're my favorite.
Did you listen to the Matty Johns podcast, where the family, where he's got Cooper, Jack, his wife, and they just did a podcast around the table for the Matty Johns one?
Nah, I haven't heard that. But funny, like we're seeing Cooper. So me and the Scope were in Bronte one time. We're walking up and we're seeing the 8th in the cafe, and we're like, oh, the 8th. So I went down and had a coffee with Joey and that, and Cooper and that were there, and I was like, fuck, your dad brushed me, man.
Yeah, Cooper's good. He's got really good chat. Like he was like,
he goes, sorry,
no, go.
Oh, so yeah, he goes, yeah, he's always like that. A lot of the times he has a few beers and jumps in the DMs and starts replying to people, and just forgets to reply to them again.
Well, like every dad ever,
right? Yeah, no, he's got good chat. He's quite funny on that podcast that he did. So get him on. Maybe start with the family first and work your way up. You can end up with the 8.
Geez, that's go straight to Joey. Go straight to Joey, I reckon. And but like but I was just thinking about like Cooper the other day. That's a lot of pressure, man. Like one, you carry that John's last name, so everyone expects you to be a gun on the football field. 2, you're the son of Matty Johns, so everyone expects you to be funny. So you're playing 80 minutes of football, like, oh, he better kill it. And then off the field, like, oh, tell us a joke. So,
he's not doing too bad, though.
Yeah, even more crazy than that is he is funny. He does make good content, and he's a good player.
Yeah. So he's living up to all the pressure.
Yeah.
Cooper Johns, mate, come on the Ice Project. We'll tag you. I've got this for a reason. QC, viral content. What can't the kid do, Ice? You and him back in the day, were you doing running routes with the league or the union ball?
Do you know what? We've done all right for a little town, man. Just like, there's honestly 10,000 people that live there and no one's really meant to make it out. I hate that sort of rag to riches story, but we've done okay. And you look at him, Joseph Manu, who's super talented as well. Zane Tedavano's played good football. I was in there for a little bit, you know what I mean? But I think the time that we come through, and it was sort of great to really grow up in a country town, because we didn't have, we had a PlayStation and stuff like that, but you're just fucking bored, and what you do is just play sports. And Quade's always been like super, super talented. What he'd done with that pass, like you'd have been able to do that when he was like 13, 14, like 15, like a lot of other people. It's just, you don't really have cameras around that time, you know what I mean? So it's not nothing unexpected, but it fucking looks silky.
Oh, the spiral got you weren't expect when I watched it the first time. I'm like, oh, he's just running around again, throwing dong balls. And because I think one of the comments last time was like, oh, why don't you throw it longer next time? So I'm waiting for him to launch this absolute monster, and then the old cheeky behind the back like that, and the spiral. Good.
I think the spiral was the most impressive part of it. It was just so tight and like, holy fuck. Couldn't even sing a normal ball like that.
You saw it on Bleacher, Jackson. Did you go through the comments?
Bro, I lost it. I just kept jumping in and tagging Patrick Mahomes. I was like, fuck, surely.
Yeah, everyone's like, Patrick Mahomes has entered the chat.
He's Quade's so funny because like you forget, like unless you know Ice or you know the story, you forget that he is just another kid from Toke. Like, and if you know, if you're from New Zealand, you know that the boys from Tokoroa have a certain rep. But there's something in the water down there, man. I don't know. They seem to be producing some all right talent. But yeah, I mean, like,
a few good looking blokes too, I reckon.
I don't know about that. They go right on footy field, but They face for podcasting, but it wasn't like the most skillful thing I've ever seen in the world, but it was just cool because Quade's so fucking cool, and he's got the rig out, and he's got the big fella running the route, slow-mo, like, it wasn't something that, Sean Johnson or Corey Norman or someone probably couldn't do if they were fucking around, but it was just cool because it's Quade, it's cool because it got the notoriety it did, and I wrote the column, like, for some reason, when a guy like that makes it on the American scene, like, it sort of reinforces that, yeah, fuck, we are cool. Yeah, what we do is cool. Like, because
he wears vintage tees. He wears vintage tees.
Yeah, he loves a bit of vintage. Promo code QC. But they just, like, the American culture is so cool, and their sports culture is so fucking cool. So when Bleacher Report, with whatever they have, 12.5 million followers, shares it, it kind of vilifies or, shows us that, yeah, we are doing something right. So good on him, man.
I seen Tavita Pangai, sort of Sports Centre, reached out to him and he screenshot it and shared it. First of all, shout out to Tavita Pangai Jr., big Tongan. He's just running routes for him for a laugh.
Yeah, I saw your comment on his, like, oh yeah, you just do all the running.
Yeah, the last 3 days, all he's doing is doing all the running for the boys. Surely let the boys sling one. Quade was a bit of a bully back in his day too, so I can picture him doing that. But like, I seen Sports Centre reach out to him and go,
that could have been to do with, it wouldn't surprise me if Haley had something to do with that, Haley Burns.
I would have just been claiming that straight away. Get my name on. Yeah, that was me running the route. Like,
yeah.
Hey, mate, Bleacher Report, make sure you tag us.
Yeah.
See you at the combine.
Suck shit, Quade. These are my likes.
All right, what else have we got on the agenda? Last one, Ice, mate. You've bit happening with your cards behind the scenes, I think. You've had a bit of chat with the DMs, screenshot of the blue tick list of your little gang, going on with all the boys.
Yeah. So at the moment, we've got this little crew. It's either All Blacks or NRL players, or ex-All Blacks or NRL players. And we've got one other guy in there. So there's about 15 of us. So Artie Savia, Aaron Smith, TJ Perenara, they're a couple of the Kiwi guys in it. We've got Kalen Ponga, Connor Watson, Sandor Earl. Little Pappy's gone into it super, super hard. But what we are going to do, we're going to get a little break going through the guys at Blank Collection. So what we have, we've all tipped in like $380 each, and we get a couple of teams in, and there's like 7 boxes. And he's going to break it live for us, and we're going to do a Zoom and just sort of make some content out of it. Andrew Fafita's in there. He's got a bit of banter in there. So we've got this good little crew, and most of them I haven't even met in person before, which is pretty cool. And been talking to them a lot. Kenny Bromwich, he's been pulling like $3,000 Zion cards out.
Yeah, I saw that one. Holy.
Fuck, he's the one that's pissing me off the most because like he's such a nice guy too. Like, and he's getting all the fucking good cards. So just sold a couple Kuzmas to Jerome Hughes yesterday. He's just got into the hobby. So we've got this little crew, about 15 players of football players, and there's a bit of banter. It's mad. Little Ren Diggity, he's in there as well. He got a box a couple of weeks ago, but got nothing in it. So there's going to be this mad little break. We'll let everyone know when it's on so everyone can watch and hopefully get into cards.
Are the Blunt guys hosting it on their Facebook?
They will host. I was going to host it, but I just can't be fucked with the logistics side of it. Then you have to break it up to 15 teams and then post out. It's not hard, but I'd rather be doing other shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the one organising it at all. The boys are like, can you organise this? Can you organise all these NRL players are fucking just sitting at home doing nothing. I'm in the office
trying to sell teas, man.
Yeah, trying to sell teas, make the best content.
What's the crack, Ice, for someone who knows nothing about cards? So the Blunt Collective guys, do they bulk buy cards, get them down here, or what's their sort of business model? How are they making money out of this?
Wholesale. So they're just wholesale. So they'll buy the product and then just ship it on. Same way that Cherry Collectibles, same way you buy t-shirts and then sell them on. Same way we buy t-shirts. But a break is a way where people can get into the hobby for a little bit cheaper. So there's
basically buy your team.
You buy into a slot and then you randomly get picked a team. So like some breaks only cost about $50 to get into, but if you get into that break, say Kenny, he got into a $90 break last week and he got the Pelicans, and whatever Pelican card comes out of there, say it's Alonzo, Drew Holiday, and obviously Zion, who's the big dog right now, you get whatever cards in that. So he spent $90 and would have got maybe $3,500 worth of cards. So that's the appeal of.
If they got like 4 or 5 boxes that they're breaking, how many cards are you expected to get for that 90? Because that's what I've been like when I'm watching it. I'm trying to figure it out. Going, all right, they're opening like some they'll do 4 box and they'll have all the different. They'll have like an Origins box, a Prisms box, a John.
it's luck. So like I seen this guy, he spent $100 and he got the Raptors and like, didn't get one card.
Oh, wow.
So there's element of gambling in it as well, which makes it fun. But I tell you who's a fucking nerd, that Ryan Pappenhausen, little Pappy. Like what he does, he puts spreadsheets together. So say we're breaking these 5 boxes here. He'll look at all these boxes and see what the best cards are in them, and then do like numbers off the back of an Excel spreadsheet, and he'll know if this is worth buying into off the back of cards. And then he'll have this little system that have like green, orange, and red of the type of teams that you want. So he'll put his money into this break, and if he doesn't get, if he gets like a red team, so say someone that's not going to be good within this thing, he'll try and like sell them on in that. So, but he's fucking taking it to a new level, and he's super low key about it. Sandor showed me some screenshots, and I was like, he's asking all these questions. I thought he was like ignorant about a lot of these things, but he knows what's up. He's fucking very sneaky.
Good. I rate that.
No coincidence that even in this realm, the Melbourne Storm boys are just killing the game, coming in prepared, executing.
Yeah. You can see, and that's what I was saying to the boys. I was like, you guys need some structure, so I'll put some structures in place. And
He's like, I've already got a spreadsheet on the side.
But this break that's coming up should be really good, because it's not just 1920. So everyone chases Ja Morant and Zion, but we're going to go back to Luka, Trays, and then De'Aaron Fox this year with Lonzo.
Yeah,
so there's going to be, I think there's going to be about 7 boxes. So there's probably about 8 or 9 really good teams that you can pick up, and hopefully Jake some autos and make some money as well. And I think each player is going to get 2 teams each, and they're just going to be random. So should be some good content.
How good. Well, let's wrap it up there, boys. Show and Go, 8th of April. Until next time.